And we're joined by City Councillor Ryan Don. A presentation before City Council on a Monday says, hey, we're seeing a need for more than 500 supportive housing availabilities over the next few years, and yet we don't see any currently planned for. Are we missing the target?
So I think that's the first time we've all seen collectively that number presented to council in a public forum to say, hey, this may be the need over the next few years. I do know that council was feeling pretty good that we had set a target of over 250 supportive housing units over this term, and we hit that. And now we're having a report saying, hey, you're gonna need a lot more. Do you have a plan for it? And so I think council has shifted based on the public comment saying, hey, we don't want just supportive housing, 15,000 person petition against it going, add more services. So I think City Council has been very focused on complex care housing, and we've actually had some success over the last year. One was just announced to come to Kelowna at some point. Complex care housing, which essentially is supportive housing with lots more supports in the building, right?
So this is for people who are even more difficult to place in housing.
Maybe perhaps if you look back to our history, some that may have been more in an institution back in the day. Institutions are no longer, but that gap still exists. So I'd say complex care that's probably the easiest way to frame it for people, is just to go a lot more complex needs that are ongoing and consistent versus a shorter term, hey, they just need housing that can help them get to the next step. So council's been focused on complex care. And so we've had some success, but the reality is that we're also constantly lobbying the province on different budget items. So there is all-inclusive zoning across the city to allow supportive housing projects to be much more easier. We've got a good partnership with BC Housing, but how much budget do they have? They have a limited budget. People don't understand we're actually lobbying them all the time to go, can you work with us more? And also as a regional, as a council, we're also thinking regionally, do we have a regional solution being worked on? Is there, in our surrounding areas, are they also looking at taking some of the supportive housing burden, because a lot of people don't want them right next to them. We know that. We very clearly know that. So is there a regional plan? And so we're just about to hit, it's election season coming up. There's a chance for the public to once again say, how much do they want to provide this type of housing? Everybody's struggling for housing in Kelowna.
Right. Still, does that number, like 500 plus, is that an eye-opener?
That's disheartening, shocking. I really felt like we had our target. Yay, we'll get 300 units and check mark. You've helped the most vulnerable population. And then we see this number and you go, oh, like that was so much work, and actually a lot of tension in our community to build that much supportive housing. And then we're saying the need is higher. And I know that we're talking about supportive housing right now, but there's also a need with our affordable housing, even with people that are working day to day, just working a minimum wage, that can't afford to live here because rents have doubled over this term. So our community is becoming much less more affordable for everybody.
It's like the three issues are housing, housing, and housing.
Yeah, I think it is all housing. I mean, at every level, at every income bracket, people are struggling to live and move in Kelowna.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.